Good morning. Welcome. I'm Stephen C. You are at Steve O'C's on TikTok. It is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Central Time. This is our daily Course in Miracles review where we go through the lesson of the day and a corresponding portion of the text and use the Course in Miracles as a platform or launching pad for our discussion of spirituality, mysticism, esoteric subjects, self-examination, self-inquiry, and waking up. So welcome this morning. Thank you for coming. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the account on YouTube, like this video, and come over to TikTok and follow this account or come to the live every morning at 11 a.m. I like to begin by reading the introduction to the Course in Miracles as a grounding exercise and to bring us into the vibration of the Course in Miracles. And the introduction to the text says this is Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And so that is a very concise and succinct summary of Course in Miracles. The introduction to the text: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. According to the Course in Miracles, we are operating under a split mind. We are operating from a split mind. A portion of our own consciousness has separated itself off, so to speak, although we have done this at first consciously, but now unconsciously, separated off a portion of our mind and consciousness, which believes in the separation principle, which the Course in Miracles calls the ego mind in the Bible. It is referred to as the carnal mind. Saint Germain calls it the outer personality. Psychologists, Freud, Jung, Adler call it the ego mind, the individual consciousness, if you will, that believes it is separate, that it is not connected to the world, and that, in fact, its own self is fragmented and multiple. So the Course in Miracles is an offering to reverse that sense of duality and separation, the perception of duality and separation from God, and to restore us, reverse our thinking, to provide a new thought system that unifies our consciousness, that brings us to a non-dual state of consciousness, or that helps us wake up. So everybody knows the rules. One lesson per day in the Course in Miracles. Today, May 20th, 2025, Tuesday, May 20th, we are reviewing lesson 140. It is the 140th day of the new year 2025. No longer really a new year as we head toward the summer solstice, as we head toward the halfway mark. Lesson 140 says only salvation can be said to cure. The last couple days, the past week, the theme of the central theme of the study has been the idea of sickness and the claim that the Course makes that sickness. Savage Pie is here. Hi, Savage Pie. Good morning. Savage Pie says, good morning, enlightened Renaissance man. Thank you. Wow. Puffing up my ego there. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Hopefully I won't let it go to my head. So the Course, our review the past week, the subject matter of the text and the workbook lessons has been the idea of sickness and the unreality of sickness, the illusory or dreamlike nature of sickness. And so only salvation can be said to cure, continues to probe into that idea. And it begins by saying cure, and it has it in quotes, cure. Cure is a word that cannot be applied to any remedy the world accepts as beneficial. So the Course makes a distinction within this framework as we talk about this framework. Yes, it is a Christian framework. It uses Christian terminology. However, the Course points out it is a universal curriculum, and that universal curriculum is presented in many different forms, Christianity being only one of them, one of many. So cure is a word that cannot be applied to any remedy the world accepts as beneficial. Split mind, the idea of duality between the world, this world, and heaven, or this world, the ego world, the world of conflict, sickness, death, in opposition to, or the opposite of, heaven, oneness, perfect health, perfect sanity, intelligence, love, peace, happiness, fulfillment. The remedies of the world solve nothing, according to the Course. What the world perceives as therapeutic is but what will make the body better. And in the Course in Miracles, our focus is not on the body, the focus is on the mind. The world perceives as therapeutic is but what will make the body better. When it tries to heal the mind, it sees no separation from the body, where it thinks the mind exists. Its forms of healing thus must substitute illusion for illusion. One belief in sickness takes another form, and so the patient now perceives himself as well. So the Course in Miracles was written or recorded, channeled, and then recorded by two psychology professors from Columbia University in New York City, Helen Schuckman and William Thetford. In the 1970s, recorded this text, recorded this book, and they were psychology practitioners. So here, as Helen Schuckman called it, the voice of Jesus. Jesus says, Jesus is telling us the consciousness, the I am consciousness. Cooper Simpson, thank you for the likes. Cooper Simpson 5, thanks for the likes. Glad you're here. Welcome. Everybody, feel free to like the live, share the live, follow the account. And feel free to comment, please. All comments are welcome. So, as I was saying, there are references to psychological principles in the Course in Miracles. So, Jesus, the voice of Jesus, was talking to Helen Schuckman and William Thetford, not only about the healing of the body, but the healing of the mind. And there is some supplemental material at the end of the workbook called the Manual for Teachers, and there is a portion of the Manual for Teachers which addresses psychology and psychological practice. And of course, psyche in Greek refers to the soul, so an interesting connection there. But there is a statement here: what the world perceives as therapeutic is what makes the body better. And then it goes on to say, when it tries to heal the mind, it sees no separation from the body, where it thinks the mind exists. So a distinction is being made between the mind and the body, the mind being the cause, thoughts being the cause, and Savage Pie says thoughts on the possibility of consciousness collapsing the waveform in double slit experiment. If I understand what you're saying, Savage Pie, I would agree. Yeah, consciousness, thoughts, the spirit being the quantum field, so the waveform, the quantum field, the ocean of potential that is collapsed by thought. I guess consciousness would be the quantum field, and then thought would collapse the waveform into particles or matter. So, yeah, I would say there's a parallel there. If you listen to Joe Dispenza or Greg Braden, they talk along those lines. Probably Greg Braden a little bit more. He's a little bit more into 0 point terminology, I think he calls it, in the quantum field. But Joe Dispenza, gets a lot of coverage these days, but I think they're both basically saying the same thing. I just saw someone else interviewed on Third Eye Drops, which is a podcast on YouTube, Third Eye Drops. And there's also a couple quantum physicists these days talking just about that. And this particular gentleman, if you find it, I can't remember his name at the moment, but it's a discussion about Plato, quantum physics, Hegel, and Jung, and the similarities between what, I guess, also string theory, what string theory, quantum physics, Jung, and Pauli were talking about, the nature of consciousness, synchronicities, those types of things. But there are physicists and scientists talking in this way now, more and more frequently and more and more publicly, about the nature of consciousness and its connection, of course, to our experience. So science and spirituality, or science and religion, finally merging or re-emerging as a unified field. So I would agree, Savage Pie. Thank you for the comment. So, where do we leave off here? When it tries to heal the mind, the world, scientific consciousness in general, psychology in general, sees no separation from the body where it thinks the mind exists, epiphenomenon, right? Consciousness arising from the body instead of the body being held in the consciousness, right? And not only the body, but the entire world. The entire perceived world is held in consciousness as an aspect of consciousness, as part of the dream, right? Savage Pie says we see through a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Yes. Its forms of healing must substitute illusion for illusion. One belief in sickness takes another form, and so the patient now perceives himself as well. He is not healed. He merely had a dream that he was sick, and in the dream he found a magic formula to make him well. Yet he has not awakened from the dream, and so his mind remains exactly as it was before. He has not seen the light that would awaken him and end the dream. What difference does the content of a dream make in reality? One either sleeps or wakens. There is nothing in between. So now it goes on to make a distinction. The happy dreams of the Holy Spirit, the happy dreams the Holy Spirit brings are different from the dreaming of the world, where one can merely dream he is awake. So the dream of awakening, or the actuality or the truth of awakening. The dream's forgiveness lets the mind perceive, do not induce another form of sleep. Course says that forgiveness is not a double-edged sword. Forgiveness is the one dream that ends all dreaming. The dream's forgiveness lets the mind perceive, do not induce another form of sleep, so that the dreamer dreams another dream. His happy dreams are heralds of the dawn of truth upon the mind. Course calls this a gentle awakening. So the transformation of dreams from nightmares into pleasant dreams, the Course calls that a gentle awakening. They lead from sleep to gentle waking, so that dreams are gone, and thus they cure for all eternity. Atonement at one mint, a unified consciousness, non-dual consciousness. So atonement heals with certainty. I will accept the atonement for myself. We said yesterday, we practiced yesterday, the thought, I will accept atonement for myself. Today, only salvation can be said to cure. So the real cure to all our problems, to our infirmities, is awakening, a unified consciousness, right? Enlightenment, the dawning of the light of consciousness upon our mind. The mind, which understands that sickness can be nothing but a dream, is not deceived by forms the dream may take. Sickness, where guilt is absent, cannot come, for it is but another form of guilt. Atonement does not heal the sick, for that is not a cure. It takes away the guilt that makes the sickness possible. So sickness being an effect of guilt, guilt being an effect of belief in the idea of separation. Takes away the guilt that makes the sickness possible. That is cure indeed, for sickness now is gone with nothing left to which it can return. Let us not try today to seek to cure what cannot suffer sickness. So it's saying the body, which is not real, cannot suffer sickness. Only the mind can suffer sickness, or only the mind can be insane. But then it goes on to say that, in fact, is a false statement. Even the mind cannot be sick. In reality, I am still as God created me. The mind of God has not been changed. My mind, your mind, God's mind is perfect, whole, and complete. Created in the image and likeness of God, is created with a perfect mind, perfect consciousness. And so there is no illness, there is no death, there is no sickness. Uh, there is only the truth of consciousness. And so waking up to that truth. And Savage Pie just made a comment about the mind, a body duality. Yes. Rene Descartes saw that distinction made between the mind and the body, which which was part of the Enlightenment and then the Industrial Revolution. So I would say in the unfolding of history, we made this transition and we made a distinction between consciousness and the body so that the material world, so that we could learn through science to manipulate the material world. And so now, 300 years later, we seem to be pushing up against the limits of that scientific revolution. We seem to be polluting the planet too much. We seem to be messing with genetics or artificial implants in the body or microtechnology in the body. We seem to be pushing the limits of that and forgetting about consciousness and spirituality. So I tend to think that the age of Aquarius, the current age, the current transition, the vibratory ascension, which we are now experiencing, will help to restore that balance between consciousness and materiality. Healing must be sought where it is and then applied to what is sick so that it can be cured. There is no remedy the world provides that can affect a change in anything. The mind that brings illusions to the truth is really changed. There is no change but this, a change in mind, changing consciousness, which is the entire thrust and purpose and method of the Course in Miracles, to change the mind and then to allow the effect to take effect of that cause being the change of mind. For how can one illusion differ from another but in attributes that have no substance, no reality, no core, and nothing that is truly different? Today we seek to change our minds about the source of sickness, for we seek a cure for all illusions, not another shift among them. We will try today to find the source of healing, which is in our minds because our Father placed it there for us. It is not farther from us than ourselves. It is as near to us as our own thoughts. So close it is impossible to lose. We need but seek it, and it must be found. Then some direction here about how to look at and interpret the world. So paragraph 9 says we will not be misled today by what appears to us as sick. We will look past appearances today and reach the source of healing from which nothing is exempt. So there is no order of difficulty in miracles. As it just said, there is no scope, there is no depth, there is no substance to an illusion. So, as Abraham Hicks says, or as Esther Hicks says, it is as easy to manifest a castle as it is to manifest a button. In truth, in experience, there may be some resistance to that idea. There may be some trouble in accomplishing that. Nonetheless, there's agreement there between the Course in Miracles and Abraham Hicks, for instance. Probably Bashar says the same thing. Daryl Anka says the same thing. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. First sentence of the text of the Course in Miracles. There is no order of difficulty. One expression of love is the same as another. They are all 100%. We will succeed to the extent to which we realize that there can never be a meaningful distinction made between what is untrue and equally untrue. Here, there are no degrees and no beliefs that what does not exist is truer in some forms than others. All of them are false and can be cured because they are not true. Goes on to say, so do we lay aside our amulets, our charms and medicines, our chants and bits of magic in whatever form they take. We will be still and listen for the voice of healing, which will cure all ills as one, restoring saneness to the Son of God. No voice but this can cure. Today, we will hear a single voice which speaks to us of truth, where all illusions end and peace returns to the eternal quiet home of God. So salvation is within us. The cure is within us. Problem is within us. The solution, the remedy is within us. The external world is simply a reflection, a mirror, an instrument to allow us to witness the effects of our thoughts, of our thought structure, of our consciousness, so that we can see them and picture them. And then we also need help interpreting them, right? Only salvation can be said to cure. Speak to us, Father, that we may be healed. Excuse me. And we will feel salvation cover us with soft protection and with peace so deep that no illusion can disturb our minds nor offer proof to us that it is real. This will we learn today, and we will say our prayer for healing hourly and take a minute as the hour strikes to hear the answer to our prayer be given us as we attend in silence and joy. Course in Miracles in the workbook suggests, right, praying constantly, meditating constantly, thinking about God constantly. So it says every hour stop for 5 minutes or so and think about the thought today, of the day. Only salvation can be said to cure. The only remedies for my problems are within myself. Problems do not really exist, and I can find the solution to them and to it, the problem, the one problem within myself. I can unify with Christ consciousness. I can remember my true self. So lesson 140 today, only salvation can be said to cure. We do not need to seek for help outside of ourselves. So, the Course in Miracles is a deep metaphysics. It's esoteric Christianity, the real teachings of Jesus, the real teachings of the Christ, in my opinion. So let's go to a portion of the text now, chapter 16, section 6, the bridge to the real world. So the real world, in contrast to the world that we perceive, this world, of course, calls it. Search for the special relationship is the sign that you equate yourself with ego and not with God. So, in conjunction with the discussion of sickness, the idea has been presented for the last week or so. So we've been talking for the last 4 or 5 days, 6 days about special relationships, which is the ego's idea of love, a special love, a secret love, a love that cannot be shared, which is in opposition to God's love, which is sharing, which must be shared, which is naturally shared. So, again, making a distinction between the ego mind and the God mind, or the mind of the Holy Spirit, which we must learn to remember. We must retrain our consciousness. And so the workbook and the text in the Course in Miracles, the workbook is the discipline, the method to arrive, the purpose to arrive at the goal of non-dual consciousness, or an enlightened mind, or remembering the self, capital S. So the special relationship is the sign that you equate yourself with ego and not with God, for the special relationship has value only to the ego. To the ego, unless a relationship has special value, it has no meaning, for it perceives all love as special. So, for instance, can you love your neighbor's kids as much as you love your own children? Hmm? That's a tough question. And if we are, as the Course calls it, invested in the ego, uh, there's going to be some resistance to that idea. Can I look at all people and love all people and forgive all people, all individuals, as I forgive or look at my own family? Can I increase the size or the scope of my family? So that's the challenge that's set forth in this text and in this workbook. So that is quite a challenge, quite a definition of love that's presented as God's love, universal love, unconditional love. So, special love, this cannot be natural, for it is unlike the relationship of God and his Son, and all relationships that are unlike this one must be unnatural. For God created love as he would have it be and gave it as it is. Love has no meaning except as its creator defined it by his will. It is impossible to define it otherwise and understand it. Love is freedom. To look for it by placing yourself in bondage is to separate yourself from it. Right? So being hostage to a relationship Do you ever feel like you've been hostage to a relationship? You ever feel like you've been manipulated in a relationship? Do you ever feel like you've been restricted in a relationship? That's a special relationship in which sacrifices are asked for by the ego. And according to the Course, God's love, a relationship with God, asks for no sacrifice because everyone has everything. Everyone is everything. God has given of itself fully and completely. This is a holographic universe. It is a holographic relationship. The whole is contained in the part. Part is composed of the whole, holographic. Love is freedom for the love of God. No longer seek for union in separation or for freedom in bondage. As you release, so you will be released. Forget this not, or love will be unable to find you and comfort you. Special relationship is totally meaningless without a body. If you value it, special relationship, you must also value the body. And what you value, you will keep. The special relationship is a device for limiting yourself to a body and for limiting your perception of others to theirs. The great raise is capitalized. Great raise would establish the total lack of value of the special relationship if they were seen. For in seeing them, body would disappear because its value would be lost, and so your whole investment in seeing it would be withdrawn from it. The idea there is that we're beings of light, and as we radiate that light, the light dispels the darkness. The body is a symbol of the darkness, symbol of separation. So, as the eternal light, God said, let there be light. As the enlightenment radiates from the center of our being, our light bodies dissolve the material body. Again, I mean, right? Seems to be a long time off, seems to be far off, right? The realization of that concept, that idea, seems to require a great deal of time to achieve. The miracle helps to shorten time, removes time. The Course says the Holy Spirit operates outside of time and space. The Holy Spirit, the mind of God, has transcended the laws of time and space, does not obey the laws of time and space because it operates from a higher law, which includes and transcends the laws of time and space. You see the world you value on this side of the bridge, so the bridge to the real world, to that world, that eternal world beyond time and space. On this side of the bridge, you see the world of separate bodies, seeking to join each other in separate unions and to become one by losing. When two individuals seek to become one, they are trying to decrease their magnitude, their magnificence. Each would deny his power, for the separate union excludes the universe. It's all or nothing. It's reality or an illusion. So if I seek to enter into a relationship because it's special, because it's separate, because it's different, then I've separated myself from the rest of the universe. That special relationship cannot be shared. Far more is left outside that would be taken in, for God is left without, and nothing is taken in. Across the bridge, it is so different. For a time, the body is still seen, but not exclusively. The little spark that holds the great rays within it is also visible, and this spark cannot be limited long to littleness. Once you have crossed the bridge, the value of the body is so diminished in your sight that you will see no need at all to magnify it. For you will realize that the only value the body has is to enable you to bring your brothers to the bridge with you and to be released together there. The bridge itself is nothing more than a transition in the perspective of reality. Nothing more than a change in perception, nothing more than an expansion of consciousness, where the value of the body is released, let go, forgiven. The defense of the body is surrendered. Thus, the image of the crucifixion. If there's no value to the body, you can look up the crucifixion online in the Course in Miracles, ACIM.org. Search the word crucifixion, read what the Course in Miracles says about the crucifixion. It calls it an extreme example to demonstrate the valuelessness of the body. So I can put down the body. You can take the body from me in 3 days. I will return in the body. I will pick it back up. Because in itself, it is nothing. It is only a reflection, an effect of the mind, of the consciousness. So the demonstration of the cross is a demonstration of consciousness, is a demonstration in consciousness. Someone said, I think this guy likes to hear himself talk. Not really. Oh, it's funny. I like comments like that. Probably because I ignored something earlier. Probably because I didn't respond to some earlier comment. But all I'm trying to do here is to go through the Course in Miracles. Nothing I'm saying you don't already know. You already know it. So anybody hanging out, anybody, making a contribution, commenting, or just hanging out, that's the format. So far, I often invite people to join in the conversation by sending me a direct message. We'll get to know each other. We'll talk a little bit. And then anybody else who wants to join in the conversation is welcome to. So far, no one has taken up the offer, which is fine. But I would love to have other individuals on here contributing to this conversation. So we'll see what develops, all in good time, all according to the guidance and direction of the Holy Spirit. So hang in there, user 145763212. You may get your wish soon enough. I think that guy likes to hide behind a bunch of numbers. User 85654522221. So the bridge itself is nothing more than a transition in the perspective of reality. On this side, everything you see is grossly distorted, completely out of perspective. What is little and insignificant is magnified, and what is strong and powerful cut down to littleness. So we want to reverse everything. Flip it right side up. In the transition, there is a period of confusion in which a sense of actual disorientation may occur. But fear it not, for it means only that you have been willing to let go your hold on this distorted frame of reference that seemed to hold your world together. A distorted frame of reference, a distorted interpretation. So I'm going to go to the last paragraph, paragraph 12, wrap this transmission up, wrap this live up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for returning. And I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope we all learned something. I know I get great benefit by showing up every day at 11 a.m. Central Time. So I will continue to do so, and I will, hope to see you here tomorrow and beyond. Thank you for being here. So the last paragraph of the text, chapter 16, section 6 says, the Holy Spirit asks only this little help of you. Whenever your thoughts wander to a special relationship, which still attracts you, enter with her into a holy instant, and there let her release you. She needs only your willingness to share her perspective to give it to you completely. And your willingness need not be complete because hers is perfect. It is her task to atone for your unwillingness by her perfect faith, and it is her faith you share with her there. Out of your recognition of your unwillingness for your release, her perfect willingness is given you. Call upon her, for heaven is at her call, and let her call on heaven for you. So the bridge to the real world is the Holy Spirit. Sophia, wisdom in the Greek, the divine feminine. So part of the problem here and the solution is the divine feminine, remembrance of the divine feminine, the receptive, the comforting, the comforter. So that's why I refer to the Holy Spirit as feminine. Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. There has to be a divine feminine there, don't you think? I do. So once again, that was lesson 140 and chapter 16, section 6. Go check it out. Go read it for yourself. Go study it. If you're interested in supplementing the transformation of your consciousness, practice the workbook lessons. It works. If you work it, thanks for being here. Peace and blessings. Love you, and I will speak to you soon. See you tomorrow. Peace.